So the service that you'll use your Nintendo account for, this account we've been talking about, is going to be called My Nintendo. This is kind of the new iteration of Club Nintendo. It will include a rewards program that gives you points for buying and playing games, and you can spend those points on DLC, original goods, game coupons. There are also going to be some future services that they're planning. Nintendo accounts will extend to Nintendo's non-gaming adventures.
Inventures.
Yeah. Nintendo accounts will extend to Nintendo's non-gaming ventures, including like theme parks, movie theaters, storefronts. The My Nintendo website will allow you to purchase software and view purchases, view your play info, your game-related messages. So it's all going to be very, cross-compatible. And it looks like they're going to be offering a lot more sort of real-world rewards for the time that you're putting into being a part of Nintendo's ecosystem.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting that they say you can rack up points for buying, but also for playing games. And, I don't know what they have in mind exactly, but, people... Yeah, that's where I was going, is that I'm hoping that there's an actual universal achievement system, and that achievements can also unlock, store credit, essentially. I think that would be a really interesting idea that, especially promotes just really, holding on to your Nintendo games and digging into them and, just getting every last item and everything, because there's actually a monetary reward for it.
Well, yeah, and there's something to be said about, especially for games that players can really sink their teeth into, not even necessarily in terms of depth, just in terms of dedicated playtime. Like Hyrule Warriors is a great example of a game that if you play it for hours and hours and hours on end, doing everything you possibly can, your gameplay experience is really not any different between hour 20 and hour 20,000. But, if you have some sort of tangible reason to want to keep playing other than just the joy of the game, level grinding, 100% runs, these kinds of things are going to be a lot more rewarding than just sort of the intrinsic value that a person might experience with them. There's a real incentive for all kinds of people to explore these new ways you can play games. People who maybe wouldn't want to do 100% runs, under any other circumstances. People who maybe wouldn't want to spend, every day checking and maintaining Animal Crossing towns for a year or more. They have reasons to come back and visit these kinds of things and do more than they normally would.
Yeah, I think that's a very Nintendo-like sort of incentive, because they really love it when you experience all of their games. I guess the other nice benefit is for people who are already completionists. They're probably also the kinds of people who buy a lot of Nintendo games, and so this is sort of a way of rewarding them for their loyalty, which any good loyalty program should do.
Yeah, well, and I think the sort of the gameplay rewards is another great way to reward loyalty, because I think, pouring hours of gameplay into a game is I would say is a better measure of loyalty than just buying several games, because there are lots of games Nintendo makes that are not good and don't deserve my loyalty. Mario Tennis Ultra Smash. Hey, there are plenty of games.
It's true.
But, so I think there's something to be said about the way Nintendo's looking about this. It's not only about pouring your money into our pockets and then we will give you some DLC points. It's about pouring your time, pouring your care, pouring your attention, pouring your dedication, and pouring your life into these things, and we'll reward you for it. It's not just about the sort of financial relationship. It's about the personal relationship between the customer and the company. And, with a company that's so personal as Nintendo, whose fans are so personally dedicated to and passionate about these kinds of games, there really is no better thing they could do. Very appropriate, I think. Very fitting, very good. Hello everybody, thank you for listening to this Nintendo Week clip, NWC. If you like what you hear, please subscribe to us here on YouTube for more highlights and discussion videos from Nintendo Week podcast, or subscribe to us on iTunes for weekly breakdowns of all your Nintendo news, discussion segments on subjects, games, and more, and tons of other features. Thanks for listening, and we will see you tomorrow with another NWC.